Yo, guys and gals, me Mutahar, and ladies and gentlemen, I swear YouTube is a wild platform sometimes. I don't even think they know what they want to do anymore. You know, ladies and gentlemen, the last couple weeks, there have been a lot of changes at YouTube, and I think all these changes have been pretty much for the worse in some capacities. I don't know if YouTube is truly committed to destroying the platform or if they're trying to fix it, okay? But the reality of it is we're at a point in today's digital history where it feels like a lot of the biggest companies have sort of opened up the dragon of generative AI nonsense and basically given the tools to the creator. Now remember, okay, years ago at this point, YouTube gave us like VO3 and all this shit, okay? To give you an understanding, YouTube's own website, okay, will tell you AI is unlocking everything. Sky's the limit creators who are now running studios, employing writers, producing top quality content. YouTube is by far like one of the most viewed websites. I think it's more viewed than TV all over the world at this point, which is kind of crazy to think about. But ultimately, at the end of the day, YouTube says that 92% of creators are already using generative AI. 96% are using it for creative support. So YouTube will just give you shit like this, like open up our studio app, tell it to create a video of a bulldog wearing a helmet and knee pads skateboarding in an empty skate park, okay? It'll give you like these images and you're just supposed to select one and VO will generate the slop that goes into YouTube Shorts. Now, again, why am I starting this off with? Well, it turns out YouTube really doesn't like the fact that I guess a lot of the platform has turned into actual dog shit in terms of especially these shorts, okay? So one of the things that I don't like about YouTube right now is I feel like the kind of content that I want to watch that I really enjoy, the only content I really watch on YouTube is like I go to youtube.com, I go to the search bar, I type in obscure old video game or just video game in general and retrospective or like, you know, somebody's 3-4 hour long diatribe. I like to have this as background music while I edit a video, while I research a topic, while I do some coding, while I do whatever, right? I just like to have somebody's 3-hour video. So I actually now look for videos that were uploaded before the AI boom because recently I've noticed that when it comes to videos like, for instance, let's say that you're playing something like Elder Scrolls Morrowind, okay? I've been playing that shit recently. I know a lot about Morrowind. I probably know everything you can know about shit like Morrowind. I know shit about Daggerfall. I know shit about Arena. I play the Elder Scrolls. So when I hear somebody in a video say something and I go, what? That doesn't sound right. I listen to it closely again and then I realize, oh, this script's probably made by Chat fucking GPT. My boy Gemini came in and fucking hallucinated all over the story. You know, it's one of those things where like when you hear it, you're like, Grok, is this true? And then, of course, even Grok doesn't fucking know because it's all, everything is hallucinating. You know, you take the human touch out of a video, I just stop fucking watching it. Now, again, when it comes to a lot of these retrospectives, it's getting a little bit difficult because A, you really have to also be paying attention to shit. So, like, if it's a game I care about, I'll know, like, if I'm hearing a video about Metal Gear Solid fucking 4 and it fucks up something, I know, because I played that game a whole hell of a lot. I made a 4-hour fucking video on it. So ultimately, at the end of the day, things like the narrations are getting better. Okay, it's getting a little bit difficult to detect an AI narration here and there because the models are getting better. You know, ultimately, at the end of the day, even the long-form content has been fucking fisted up the ass. It's been goat seed. So the short-form stuff is genuinely even shittier, okay? To give you an idea, based on a report from the guys over here at capwing.com, they were actually researching the top countries that look at this dog shit, okay? For instance, Spain, Egypt, the USA, Brazil, Pakistan, all these countries, top 20, they're the ones that have like the most subscribers, like the most subscribers from these countries are going to all these AI channels. The most viewership is coming from like South Korea, just dominating the boards with watching this dog shit, then Pakistan, then the United States, Egypt, Spain, and then, God bless, India. I'm just really happy nowhere in this list is fucking Canada. That would actually hurt me in every capacity. Now, of course, the top channels are obviously shit like Cuentos what is it? Cuentos Fasciantes, which I can imagine is for children watching this. Like, oh, you want to see some Goku? You know, want to see some octopus in the background? Sure. Imperio de Jesus. I'm sure that works fine. Mon AI, white dog cats. And of course, the kind of videos that these people watch are shit like Bandar Apna Dost. My dad would look at this shit and think, man, that's pretty fucking stupid, huh? Now, I think a lot of this shit has been popularized by the direction of not just YouTube, but their parent company, Google, Alphabet. Because look, at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of these companies have created this generative AI dog shit, and they're kind of leading into the world where, they want more of this slop on the website because I'm sure it attracts a lot of eyes, but they also don't because they realize that most human beings also consider this to be kind of a disgusting, like most people get turned off by it. I'll tell you something. If I see a YouTube thumbnail that is AI generated, I just don't even watch the video. I don't even look at the channel anymore, okay? Simply because I realize that if that person just does not give a fuck and they just go to the YouTube studio tool and it's like, yeah, just slop out like 3 of these thumbnails for me, I'll pick one. That's when I know the guy does not give a fuck about what they're even posting on the internet to begin with, okay? So there's a lot of other key issues, and it's because of this that YouTube has started to implement a lot of these sort of half-assed rules to kind of counter the shit that they brought onto themselves, right? Remember, ever since a lot of this Gemini, fucking ChatGPT, Sora, every one of these models, every one of these generative tools have come out, a lot of these websites have been wanting to push it. Remember, not too long ago, Facebook was trying to experiment with AI-generated profiles to make it look like their website had a lot more activity than it actually really did. And to an extent, I imagine YouTube probably enjoys it when they can say, oh, we had thousands, millions of hours of shorts uploaded, but what percentage of those shorts were actually decent quality made by people as opposed to somebody slopping out, another video here and there through the YouTube Gemini application and just sending it up there? So, for instance, YouTube has done 2 things that I have kind of a little bit of an issue with. So they changed the YouTube partner program a little bit over here, okay? So for instance, the partner program is how people make money on the platform. So what they've actually done over here, they've expanded things like Premium Lite to all countries where they offer YouTube Premium. And basically, creators earn money from these subscriptions through a dedicated pool of revenue. So basically, anybody that has YouTube Premium, if you don't get ads, you do contribute to somebody's ad earnings because your view is considered more valuable than somebody else who's not paying YouTube monthly for their stuff, right? Now, of course, I'm not going to tell you to get YouTube Premium or not. I don't really give a fuck. At the end, make that decision on your own, okay? It's your credit card. You decide what the fuck you want to do, okay? Simple as that. Now, you got YouTube Shorts, right? Now, YouTube Shorts is where I think a lot of fisting is. Like I said, a lot of dog shit AI slop lives in YouTube Shorts. In one way, you know what I wish I could do is when I'm browsing YouTube for like a fucking gameplay video or anything, I wish I could just delete shorts entirely from the fucking platform, okay? But I'll leave my wishes for later. So they're updating how they distribute shorts and reward creators who want to drive conversation engagement, blah, blah, blah. Beginning February 1st, 2027, creators who have 10 million qualified shorts over the last 90 days will be eligible for ads on shorts. So basically, every 90 days, you got to be hitting 10 million qualified views, okay? Now, that sounds huge. I don't really know shorts views all that much because I don't do shorts on the platform. But yeah, that's for some people who live on shorts, like this is their shorts never paid out to begin with all that well. So I can only imagine like if you're somebody that is genuinely having a following doing things like shorts, this is obviously a big bump. 10 million like qualified impressions over every 90-day period. That's a fair bit. Now, if you compare this to what YouTube did with the average content creator, the guy that makes videos like this that you're watching, to keep pace with the growth of YouTube, basically every creator applying for YouTube will now need 8,000 qualified watch hours in the last year, or 20 million views in the last 90 days. So here's the fucking thing, okay? Here's the reality of it. You might be like, whoa, 8,000 hours? I will never, ever make a cent on the platform. I've been on YouTube for a lot of years now, and I'll tell you, 8,000 hours, when you compare it like dollars to donuts, you're probably looking at, I don't even think it's probably like $100-ish bucks. Actually, no, it is over $100. Basically, it's enough to kind of make that threshold, but generally the hours, you know, when you look at a YouTube video's views, the views don't tell everything. If a video has like, let's say 40,000 views, but it's also like 4 hours long, right? Like, believe it or not, my Metal Gear video, which was like 4 hours long, I don't even think it did that great viewership-wise at the time it came out. Over the years, it did great. But the people that did watch that video watched it for fucking hours. Which is why if you upload like hours of video every day, even if it doesn't seem like a lot of people are watching, you absolutely are killing it in the entire algorithm. Everything is kind of dependent on watch hours. And ultimately, at the end of the day, this isn't necessarily the wildest change that I've seen. I think what YouTube is trying to do is they're punishing the people that are making these shorts, because ultimately, I feel like YouTube realizes that's where a vast majority of the slop lives. And ultimately, no platform wants to be caked in slop, because ultimately it makes the advertisers looking at YouTube question if they're actually going to keep giving them money when they realize that most of the viewership for this stuff is probably people that, you know, aren't going to purchase our ads to kind of begin with, right? So the other thing YouTube did that I think is actually really fucking stupid, and one of the things that I wanted to bring up in this video, is how YouTube is going to be counting a viewership from now on. So YouTube says, beginning on the 24th of this month, a view will be counted the moment a video begins to play, from the very first frame. This standard will now apply globally across all platforms. So basically, they'll still use the original metric, which they call engaged views. So basically, you have to watch a video for a little bit to be counted as one view on this channel, right? After this change, if somebody, say, clicks on this video, and even if the video like barely loads, like we're not, just the first frame of the video, it counts as a view. Now, obviously, what this means is a view, like viewership across the platform will go up. People will get more views. But that doesn't tell the whole story. Before this change, a YouTube view was worth way fucking more than every other platform, you know? Now, for a lot of content creators, AdSense really isn't the place to be. For a lot of content creators that like upload a video on YouTube and they want to get viewership, they tend to get advertisement from outside the place. Now, I don't do ads on my channel because this is a fun thing for me. I don't really care about making the money and like giving you an ad every day. If I did, every single video would be like, hey guys, brought to you by VPN company A, brought to you by, I don't know, therapy company B, yada yada. Oh, here's some fucking cooking company C. I would be putting an ad in every video and probably taking in thousands of dollars per day. That's not really the key important part, okay? At the end of the day, I just like having fun uploading videos, calling it a day. And I feel like if I uploaded an ad every single video, you guys would legitimately have a proper causal reason to fucking behead me. But for a lot of content creators who literally live off those advertisements, like they upload a video like every like 6 months, and that ad pays for them basically working on a video for 6 months, that ultimately is going to possibly be hit. Because when you cheapen the value of a view, all of a sudden, a lot of the advertisers that pay people pretty premium CPMs are going to be like, well, we don't even know if the person clicking on your video just clicked the fuck off 5 seconds in, you know? We'll need another metric. So this is kind of a dumb decision that YouTube is fucking doing. And the reality of it is that it compounds on a decision that YouTube has made for years now. For a long time, YouTube used to have a like-dislike bar, and I fucking love the like-dislike bar, okay? On average, each of my videos is like 98.7% like-dislike, like 98% liked, dislike the other percentage. The thing about it is that that metric, when the public can see it, is so valuable and important. I'll tell you why. There's so much dog shit, clickbait bullshit on this platform, especially in the tech space, for instance, right? Where somebody wants to, you know, talk about, like, especially if you're looking up like an instructional video, right? It used to be that if I clicked on a video and I saw the dislikes were substantially higher, I just click off the video. My view wouldn't register because I watched the video for like literally 2 seconds. I saw the like dislike, I fucked right off. And YouTube removed that. And now what YouTube is doing is they're removing that threshold to be viewed. So now a lot of these dog shit videos are going to get massive viewership. We won't ever be able to know immediately off the bat, hey, is this actually a video worth watching or not? And yeah, it just leads to the shitification of this fucking platform, okay? I feel like the direction that YouTube is going is the direction that a company takes when they're not fully fucking committed to either invoking hell on this platform or not. Look, artificial intelligence is kind of like I'll give you my like nuanced view of it. I'm not somebody that is like a fucking global hater of artificial intelligence, right? For instance, a couple like weeks ago, this creator Hank Green came out, made a video where he apologized to his community because I guess they caught him using like ChatGPT vernacular. Some ChatGPT like prose was like in his script. And ultimately, at the end, he like apologized. He even said like, I need to come to terms with the fact that the level of dopamine I get from interacting with LLMs, with doing more and more and more, is not healthy for me. What the fuck do you mean dopamine with LLMs, bro? Dude's actually falling into LLM psychosis. You know, it's not actually so far off the mark, you know, from people that literally end up actually fucking artificial intelligence in its digipussy. And I'll explain why, okay? There's been cases where in countries like China, they've actually started banning AI boyfriends and girlfriends, mostly because people fall into like LLM psychosis. At the end of the day, this is all AI shit, okay? You ask it a question, it spits out an answer to you, right? That's how it works. It's not magic. It's like literally the next token prediction. The only reason I would say AI is decent is like, hey, internet search sucks these days because Google doesn't give a fuck, Bing doesn't give a fuck, no one gives a fuck. But using an artificial intelligence to make a search and like pull out files and like find sources through this shit is kind of better than using the search engine, but that's really where it should stay. I think if you're the kind of content creator that uses AI to write your scripts or do your entire batch of research, then I think you've checked out mentally as a content creator and you should probably just fucking call it quits and sail off into the sunset. Because that's not healthy. What you're doing is you're destroying batches, you're destroying your actual, like, you're destroying the ability to do the stuff you're asking the AI to yourself anyways. You know, the other thing is when you're the kind of content creator that is sitting there and you're like, you know what, I'll just generate out music, I'll generate out like a thumbnail, generate out like a sound. Like at what point are you actually learning anything in the craft or you're actually doing anything? Like at that point, why should I care to bother watching you when I could just prompt myself and just watch the output? You know, this is like the insane levels we're kind of getting to, right? And YouTube doesn't know whether to commit to this or not commit to this because at the end of the day, I think YouTube as a company realizes that AI content people will always be hesitant to. But Google as a company is like, nah, bitch, okay? We're putting billions into this, okay? So you're either playing along or you're fucking laying down. Even attempts where companies like Claude, for instance, are finding ways to watermark their AIs. Because people like, you know, Anthropic will tell you that these LLMs work by generating a word at a time. The model decides the next word, uses potential candidates, so the next prediction. Basically, they will actually implement a special type into the response where, like, ultimately they will place certain words or put preference to build sort of like a watermark throughout the text. And I guess this will like eventually make it like if you basically ask ChatGPT or Claude to make your website article or your video script and you just read that verbatim, people will be able to identify it. But again, the problem with LLM shit is you can take whatever output Claude gives you, put it into ChatGPT and say, hey, listen, Claude's watermark is all over this. Can you get rid of it? Or just get a local model, fine tune it to identify the watermark and start removing it. It's a cat and mouse game where I shit you not, the cat might as well quit because the mouse will always be a million steps ahead of this nonsense. But this is the kind of direction the entire internet sort of taken, right? The internet as a whole is reaching a point where a vast majority of it is replaced with online AI content creation. And I think the only way to get rid of it is to understand that we're currently in the internet dark ages. It's not sustainable. And at some point, I hope years down the road, things sort of change. But again, a lot of these websites, not just YouTube, but a lot of these websites' decision-making has led us to this point. Even YouTube to an extent. I love the platform, but comments, for instance, right? I've always said this in like videos recently is that sometimes I wonder if like the person that's commenting in the video is a human being or is it a fucking LLM that's running on an agent that reads the transcript from the video and just quickly writes a witty response to it. What's going on? How do you discern what is human and what is synthetic on the internet anymore. It's getting substantially more difficult. And I've said this for years. Even platforms like Kyrgyzstan, like actual content creators, said that when they uploaded videos, these guys have been uploading forever. They literally are a company that, puts together well-researched, well-animated pieces. And they said that when they got in touch with YouTube, they confirmed that the automatic AI detection tools thought that their human videos were actually AI slop and started to then choke their channel. So this is a website that is moderated entirely at this point, it seems, mostly by artificial intelligence. I don't know if YouTube wants to push more AI or if YouTube wants to nuke it entirely from the platform. But this whole half-ass mentality is actually just terrible for the site. Either shit or get off the fucking pot. Simple as that, dude. Like, do you want this platform to denigrate into just complete AI hell, which I think maybe bigger Google might like? Or do you want this to return back to the days where every person that's posting a video onto this platform is a human individual? And it doesn't matter if the video quality is up there with some fucking crazy good Kyrgyzstan levels of production or a fat Indian guy like me speaking into a camera. You have to either side with the AI dog shit or you have to think, listen, we need to commit back to the human side of things, right? And I don't think that question will ever be appropriately answered as long as Google or YouTube's parent company is putting billions of dollars into a technology that is actively harming the internet and just filling it with junk data as every hour passes. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I'm gonna go play some WoW.